Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands. True School Sports subscribers. Now, this is the official post-fight review for Devin Haney versus Mason Menard on ShoBox. What can we say, man? Devin Haney, getting a lot of hype and for good reason, man. He went in there against a guy, Mason Menard, who, is a former world title challenger, a guy that's been in there with the likes of Ray Beltran, had some impressive performances on ShoBox. But ultimately, you saw why Devin Haney is a very hyped-up fighter. He pretty much made Mason Menard and his terrible trainer, we're going to get into that in a second, but his terrible trainer quit in the 9th round. Mason Menard didn't quit. The trainer threw in the towel and pretty much told the referee that this fight is over. But just every round was pretty much the same. Devin Haney showed great footwork. He used lateral move the entire fight. He stayed very committed to that jab. He's very, very, he's 19 years old. He's a growing, maturing young man, and he knows how to use that jab, and he was using it really well. It was coming from a very educated place. He was doubling up on it, tripling up on it at times. And Mason Menard, very, very early on in the fight, he just ran out of ideas. He moved in a straight line. He didn't move his head until after he got hit. And for like a good 7 rounds, he refused to jab his way inside to try and attempt to cut the distance. And because of that, every round just seemed to be a replay of the last. And Devin Haney looks sensational, man. His first fight on Showtime, on ShoBox, against former world title challenger. He's only 19 years old. This was his 19th fight. And he's looking to challenge for world titles, man. Do I think he's ready for the world titles? I mean, I don't really know, but if you're out there being a guy like Mason Menard, it at least tells me that you're past a certain level of fighter. And Mason Menard was a contender. Mason Menard was a world title challenger. So I don't know. If the right opportunity can present itself, I'm not against it at all. I think Devin Haney is just that damn talented that he could potentially go and snatch up a world title. I do remember I made a video here about him potentially fighting Robert Easter Jr. He's much more skilled than Robert Easter Jr., and I'm not sure that Robert Easter Jr. has the power to keep Devin Haney off of him. So I think that would be a very interesting fight. Although I do know that Devin Haney is not really ranked in the IBF rankings, or at least I don't think he is. I might have to go check that. So yeah, he basically got a corner stoppage in the 9th round. And I was impressed. I was impressed, man. He's very cocky. He's very outspoken outside the ring. When he went in that ring, man, he was very focused. He took every moment of that fight seriously. He took Mason Menard seriously, and he did not allow Mason Menard to win any moment of that fight. And he, at 19 years old, outclassed and pretty much, I'm gonna say, even embarrassed Mason Menard. I don't know what the hell his trainer's name is, but Mason Menard's trainer was terrible. He was piss poor. He was below average. He was pedestrian. He was trash. He was garbage, because the instructions he was giving Mason Menard were just not real. Like he wasn't really telling Mason Menard what he should be doing. He didn't give him a clear-cut game plan to win this fight. I mean, it took this guy. And I was sitting in just yelling at the TV saying, "Look, jab your way inside, Mason. Jab your way inside." And a couple of times that he did jab his way inside, he was able to keep Devin there for a moment or two and get a little closer to them. And when he wasn't doing that, he couldn't find Devin Haney. It's almost like Devin Haney was invisible to the man at times. But it took Mason Menard's trainer literally 8 rounds to tell Mason Menard to start working behind the jab. And I just think as a boxing coach, when you have a guy who has 3.5-inch reach disadvantage, and he's not having success, and he's being peppered by the opponent's jab and lateral movement, and he can't handle the speed. Obviously as a fighter you should know these things, but sometimes there's so much going on that you need your coach, you need your corner to give you proper instructions. I don't think they gave him proper instructions. So it is what it is. I don't really think Mason Menard had much of a puncher's chance anyway, because he was never known or never renowned for his boxing skill. So it's unfortunate for Mason, because this is a guy a couple years ago that people thought would be a world champion. He fought Ray Beltran. A lot of people thought he was going to win that fight. Ray Beltran stopped him. He got kind of thrown to the wolves here to fight Devin Haney, and what was going to be a tough crossroads fight, because we knew skill for skill he wasn't matching up with Devin Haney like that, and he got embarrassed. So where he goes from here, I don't know. I mean, my best guess for Mason Menard would be that he'll probably just be an opponent from this point out at the top level until he can win a fight against a notable opponent, which is going to be a tough ask of him based on his skills and based on the habits he's already built up as a fighter. So I wish him the best with his career. As for Devin, he has me intrigued, man. He has me intrigued, because I'm not going to lie. I used to follow his little vlogging series that he did. Then he stopped doing it. And then I really haven't been paying attention to all of his performances. I watched the clips, but I didn't really take him seriously because he's fighting, Home Depot workers and just cab drivers. He's fighting guys that are overmatched. So for him to finally fight a guy that has somewhat of a name, has challenged for world titles, has fought on Showbox, it was, for me, really, I count it as the first real fight, the real test of his career, and he passed it with more than flying colors. So just great performance all around. There's really, I can't critique anything really. I'd be an asshole if I critique anything from this kid tonight, because his command of range was excellent. His commitment to the body was excellent. Maybe that's probably the only thing if you want to be nitpicking. He probably could have attacked the body more, but even he was good in that department as well. Footwork was on point. Ladder move was on point. Just an excellent performance from an excellent young and upcoming talent. So that's my assessment on the Devin Haney fight. I also wanted to talk about the Joshua Greer fight because, as you guys know, I am a massive supporter of Joshua Greer. I think this guy is world championship material. And tonight he had a step-up fight that I dropped a video on it earlier this week. But he had a step-up fight against Glenn DeZern, who, has a good amateur pedigree. Glenn DeZern, tough fighter, never been stopped. It was a good step-up fight, and he fought him at 122. And as we know, if you've been really following Joshua Greer's career on Showbox and in boxing, he his last two fights before this have been at 118, and he's looked great. He scored that great sensational knockout last year with James Gordon Smith, where he was going backwards and hit him with a pull right hand counter, put him on his ass. Probably my favorite knockout that happened last year. But in this fight with Glenn DeZern, man, I think he showed how strong he is, man. Glenn DeZern is a game fighter, man. Game fighter. Came out, putting just pressure on him, coming forward, trying to press the action. Landed some clean, flush shots on the chin of Joshua Greer. He held his ground. He shook his head. He made a fun night in there, and he had fun in there, and he's fun to watch. And as the fight wore on, you see him beginning to let his hands go more and more and more. He throws very, very fast, sharp, precise combinations. And a couple of times he had Glenn DeZern hurt. He couldn't finish him. In the, 8th round, he finally got him hurt again. And Glenn, his legs couldn't hold up anymore. But Glenn was able to, at least for his sake, go out on his feet like the warrior he is. So in the future, man, I don't know what the future holds for Glenn DeZern. He's 30 years old. But I would like to see him again on Showbox because he's a good game fighter and he's not no punk. So I enjoyed the performance. As for Josh Greer, a lot of you guys criticize me saying oh, BT, you don't like American fighters, but here's an American fighter that I very much like and I very much support and I very much think can be a world champion. I don't know which way he wants to campaign at. That's probably the only question and concern I have for his career because it seems like there's no clear-cut weight he wants to campaign at. They seem like they're experimenting between 118 and 122. Now I'm gonna have a video out this. I'm gonna have a video on this probably on Sunday. So expect a video on Sunday about this. But personally, for me, Josh Greer needs to drop back down to 118, and he needs to enter the World Boxing Super Series. He needs to enter that tournament because he's a sensational fighter. He's a fighter that needs exposure. He's a fighter that is good enough to challenge for world titles. And America needs representative in that tournament because you're gonna have all the guys with world championship belts in that tournament. You're gonna have Ryan Burnett, Zolani Tate, Emmanuel Rodriguez, and then potentially Naoya Inoue should he win his next fight against Jamie McDonald. You got potentially all the belt holders entering that tournament. And to have a guy like Josh Greer like that with his personality, with his skill set, would it be a massive step up? Absolutely. Would he have to really rise to the occasion? Absolutely. But at the same time, Joshua Greer, he strikes me at least as a confident fighter and someone that would be open to an opportunity like that. And if you're Kale Sonderland, if you're Richard Schaefer, if you're the guys that put together the World Boxing Super Series, he's someone that you need to fill in those slots because he will give you a good fight. He will give those guys trouble. He will give the likes of Burnett, Tay, guys like that will give them trouble. So I would love to see him in the tournament. But tonight he had a great performance in his first step-up fight, and I just want to see more of him. So I hope the people that run his career, TTB Promotions, Journeyman Management, all those guys over there, I hope they keep him busy. I hope they keep him active, and I hope eventually, my hope for Josh Greer is that he signed with Eddie Hearn. Aside from the World Boxing Super Series and him challenging for world titles, my biggest hope for Josh Greer is that he signed with Eddie Hearn, because Eddie Hearn is looking for upcoming world-class American fighters who don't have like a promoter. I don't think Josh Greer really has like a real promoter like that. So I think I don't know what his contract situation is, but if he has wiggle room to get out of it, I would get out of it, because he needs push. A guy like him needs push. He needs to be just promoted more. He needs to be in big fights. He needs to be getting paid good money. And I think Eddie Hearn can provide all those things, as he announced yesterday with his new deal with the Perform Group and his new app, The Zone. He got $1 billion to spend, $1 billion war chest. So this is a guy that I think he should look into. So good performance from him tonight. Overall, a good card. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Devin Haney looked sensational against Mason Menard. Mason Menard that's probably the end of his career at the top level. Unfortunately, hopefully, he can work his way back up into. I wish them the best, but he really did not look comfortable in there at all tonight. And then as for Josh Greer, first ever fight, passed their flying colors. I want to see him in the World Boxing Super Series. I want to see him challenging those guys for world titles, and I would like to see him sign with Eddie Hearn, because he is an overlooked talent in American boxing that needs more shine. So that's my take on everything. You guys let me know what you think in the comments down below. Take the time to subscribe. Like I say in every Guy Starn video, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Dane. So until next time, take care, guys.